What are you doing right now? Taking a break from work? No? Probably in between chapters of your favorite book. For me, it is definitely going to be a book from Sidney Sheldon. Still no? Probably you're hanging out with friends. What is the first thing that comes to mind? Definitely coffee. Hi, I'm Ria, and today's topic is going to be on delicious, delicious coffee. Yes. So what should I order today? Probably a creamy cappuccino. No. Probably a milky latte. No. Probably just to erase those cobwebs of sleep from my mind, it's definitely going to be a shot of espresso. These are the terms that you actually come about, okay, when you think or when you talk about coffee. So today we're going to actually talk about all these terms that you might hear probably when you're going to Barristers or probably at Cafe Coffee Day or just hanging out with your friends at home. You might come across all these words. Yes? Maybe you don't know the meaning. That's okay. We'll discuss today. Alright? The first word that we can talk about is cappuccino. You have always ordered probably, that is the most favorite, I think, cup of coffee that people order. Alright, in Barristers or in Cafe Coffee Day, any coffee shop for that matter. Alright, cappuccino. What does it look like? It's actually a coffee that has got foam on top. Yes, and it is served. Alright, it is served in a glass on a saucer. Alright, so it's served in a glass on a saucer, and it is made from foamed milk. All right, and I'm sure you have noticed these days the coffee makers are so artistic. They actually make these beautiful decorations on the foam in that coffee. All right, so I'm sure this is one of the favorites of many, okay, ordering cappuccino. And do you know that it actually comes from Italy? Well, this may come from Italy, but when were the Americans behind? They came up with latte. Yes, that's how you pronounce it, latte. All right, now how is this different? This is actually made from regular heated milk. Yes, all right, this is made from regular heated milk. And do you know how it is being served? It is actually served in beautiful porcelain cups. All right, it's really served in this beautiful, very British, no? Yes, it is served in beautiful porcelain cups. All right, that's what we call as latte. Moving on, all right. Oh, espresso. The last time I had a shot of espresso, I could not sleep for 2 nights. Could you imagine? Well, espresso is actually made in a coffee machine. All right, this is made with minimal water, very less, nearly boiling water, which goes through pressure because the coffee makers actually add this really freshly ground coffee, or sometimes just coffee beans. All right, and it's actually in a shot. All right, so you just have a shot of espresso. Moving on to iced coffee, but before that, do you know that all these 3 items are actually hot? They're hot coffee, but the 4th one is not. All right, iced coffee, this is actually made with cold ingredients. All right, that's how we differentiate from the other coffees. All right, this is cold. Now, mochaccino, my favorite. This is hot though. All right, this kind of coffee is hot, but do you know what is different? It is a form of latte, but it has got a hint of chocolate. So yum. All right, so mochaccino, I'm not so sure whether there's there's a lot of people who actually order mochaccino, but this is absolutely delicious because it has got a hint of chocolate. Okay, so these are the type of coffees that we usually order at coffee shops. Have you ever heard of drip coffee? Well, the people who are totally I think coffee addicts will love this coffee. All right, this is actually made in coffee machines. Okay, when you enter a coffee shop, the only thing you can smell is this lovely coffee beans. All right, brewing of coffee beans. It's absolutely lovely. So when you're making drip coffee, and sometimes people actually prefer to make it at home as well, they ground fresh coffee beans, and then they add it to water and they make it in a coffee machine. Okay, it takes a bit of time, but it's a lovely brew, and people love drinking that coffee, especially for coffee addicts. Yes. All right, now moving on to coffee aficionado. That's quite a huge term, isn't it? Even it's an absolute mouthful. But coffee aficionado is a term, is in a label given to those lovely coffee drinkers who are absolutely they love their coffee, and they're out there to get the right beans. Can you imagine? There are people out there who actually go for the right beans, the right brew, okay? And they sometimes they buy this lovely coffee beans and they ground it, they crush it themselves, right? Just to have that lovely cup of coffee. Now these people are just not normal addicts, okay? They are kind of humanitarians as well, okay? They kind of go to that length of buying coffee from those farmers who actually grow coffee in a very humanitarian way, or if they are paid well, all right, they are treated well, the farmers are being treated well, from them only do these people buy coffee. How lovely is that? Isn't that actually a noble thought? Moving on to this, do you know that these people actually think about whether how the coffee beans are actually roasted, whether they are lightly roasted or they are darkly roasted? They actually have different taste. Who knew? Well, we only buy ground coffee in bottles. That's all that we buy, right? But these people, the addicts, they actually go for whether the beans are light or whether they are dark. Caffeine habit. Do you know if someone who has got a caffeine habit, actually caffeine is a stimulant, okay? Now this might have a negative or a positive effect on your health, all right? People who have like a caffeine habit, they might actually go through calcium deficiency. Who knew? All right, we just love drinking our cup of coffee, but it might be harmful in some way or the other, all right? Now people who are into caffeine habits, actually they always require a caffeine fix. Now who knew about this term? Okay, now when you have a caffeine fix, all right, that means you regularly need coffee. Everybody, it's like you are addicted and you really need that caffeine fix. All right, now let's go into the next term, which is wired up. Do you know what wired up actually means? All right, this is an aftermath, okay? When you don't want to have an aftermath of caffeine, okay? When you drink a lot of coffee, isn't there a different kind of feeling that you get? It kind of increases your metabolism, but you have this kind of queasy kind of feeling. You feel a little weird, maybe a little hyperactive as well, right? Sometimes I remember when I used to study a lot, I used to drink 4 or 5 cups of coffee, and after that everybody used to stop talking to me because I used to get angry. I used to go through this behavioral change, all right? So sometimes people get wired up. I know I used to. So if you don't want to get wired up, if you don't want to have that aftermath of having a lot of caffeine, what do you do? You get a decaf, all right? Now if you talk about decaf, majority of you might not know, okay? We have coffee that has got caffeine in it. Decaf actually means that there is no caffeine, all right? This is the opposite of having caffeine in your coffee. So no caffeine in a decaf coffee. You can usually get it at any of the coffee shops, all right? And this is an opposite in opposite to caffeinated coffee. Caffeinated coffee meaning it has got caffeine. There you go, all right? So I hope you like all these terms. I know you go through it, okay? Every time that we are at a coffee shop, every time that we're having friends, everybody comes up with this lovely terms about coffee and this and that. So sometimes you might think, what are they actually talking about? These are the meanings, okay, of these words. I'm sure you listened to them, you go through them, all right? So now you know what their meanings are. So you can also use it properly in your vocabulary whenever you're talking about coffee. So in the previous slide, we actually saw some vocabulary, okay, pertaining to coffee. So in this one, we are going to talk about some of those phrases, some of those questions that we come across daily when we go to our favorite coffee shop. Alright, now when you go to a coffee shop, let's say Baristers, okay, and the person behind the counter actually asks you a few questions. How do you take your coffee? What are you going to answer? I take my coffee in a cup. No, I take my coffee via my mouth. This simply is not what he's asking actually. What he's asking is, what are the key ingredients in your coffee? Alright, for example, to make it much more simpler, or maybe to streamline it, they might ask, do you take it black? What do you mean by that? To take it black. Alright, but what that person means is whether you want only coffee and water in your coffee. Okay, now that is actually quite simple, and usually people take this coffee, a black coffee that actually is an absolute stimulant. People who are studying, people who work late nights, okay, they prefer black coffee as opposed to with milk and sugar. Alright, now this is totally opposite to this one. Alright, usually sometimes my friends just order black coffee, but I love milk and sugar in my cup of coffee. Alright, now the guy might behind the counter might also ask you, do you prefer skim milk? I know, for those Weight Watchers, you would definitely go for skim milk, right? What is skim milk? Well, skim milk is milk that's without any fat. Okay, usually people who are on a diet, who's actually watching their weight, usually go for this coffee. Alright, coffee with skim milk. What is the opposite? Alright, we'll go with whole milk. Whole milk is the opposite of skim milk. Now this whole milk will actually have fat, right, and more cholesterol, right, and more carbohydrates. The other one is the absolute opposite. The last one, do you prefer half and half? What is half and half? What? In a cup there would be half coffee? Absolutely not. Okay, do you prefer half and half? What the person behind the counter means that actually you would prefer half milk and probably half cream. Yum. Alright? Yes, so when you prefer half and half, you want half milk and half cream in your coffee. These are the phrases that we actually come across. Alright, so now I know, and I'm sure that you're much more confident, okay, in using this, or listening to these questions and answering to them, because now you know the meanings of these questions, right? I'm heading out for my favorite macchiato. I hope you are too.